So it is WrestleMania week. We're counting down to the biggest event on the calendar in sports entertainment. But before we get to the Raymond James Stadium for Mania this weekend, now this Thursday, Aussie time, is NXT Takeover, Stand and Deliver. Two big nights of action, and one man that can definitely meet that hype is the colossal Bronson Reed, who joins me now. Bronson, great to chat, brother.
Great to chat to you as well. I'm super excited for Takeover.
Now, before we get to TakeOver, let's talk a little bit of WrestleMania, because back in the day, I remember I used to run home from school. I'd catch the replay 6:30 p.m. on Main Event on Foxtel on Monday nights. What was it like for you growing up as a fan, especially here in Australia, since WWE was so limited back in the day?
Yeah, of course. So I've been a huge fan of wrestling my whole life. My uncle who lived with us was a huge fan of wrestling. So as a 2-year-old, I was watching wrestling. So for me, it was very much weekends would go to Movie Land and would get the VHSs. So, and sometimes like back then, you might be waiting for SummerSlam, and SummerSlam will happen in August and they might not get it until December. So I would try and watch as much as I could, rent as many videos as I could, which eventually became DVDs. And same thing, Foxtel, I'd watch Raw once Raw started happening. Just whatever I could get my hands on, I'd watch.
I don't think there's a person out there listening or watching that can't remember going down to Movie Land and seeing oh, WrestleMania 12 is here and WrestleMania 14 is on next week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But now, look, let's get back to TakeOver, though, because I was lucky enough to chat to WWE Hall of Famers Shawn Michaels and Triple H last year. Now, HBK specifically brought you up as a superstar to watch, and Triple H even said, and I quote, "You're a game changer." So when you hear praise like that from two absolute Hall of Famers and all-time greats in this business, how much, one, of the spotlight does that put on you? And secondly, how much pressure does it also put on you to live up to that hype?
I mean, it's crazy. Like, even you just saying that, it gives me goosebumps. I grew up idolizing these guys. Shawn Michaels, Triple H. They were people I would watch every week. Not only that, like I had action figures, I had VHS's Best of Shawn Michaels. Like I had all these things growing up, and then you actually end up working with these people, and it becomes surreal. And to have praise from them is just it makes me over the moon, And I do hope that I can live up to that hype. And I think sometimes having that praise from guys like that does make you work harder. So that's in the back of my mind, that Triple H said you're a game changer, so I need to be that.
Now, anyone that's seen you wrestle here in Australia knows just what you can bring. So it sounds like, yep, we all knew that, man. But yep, we know what you bring to the squared circle. But that ladder match at TakeOver 30 that you're in for the North American Championship, I think that was the one where the WWE Universe sort of stood up and took notice and said, whoa, this is like nothing we've ever seen. I mean, what was that like for you? I mean, your TakeOver debut, you're in a multi-man ladder match. You want to talk about pressure in a high pressure situation. This is all it, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things like we work really hard to get to where we are. A lot of us have come from the independents and wrestled around the world. And to try and make a name for yourself here is still something completely different. You have a much bigger audience that's going to see you. And that night I made it that, I wanted to go out there and have a crazy match, but I also wanted to try and stand out amongst those 6 people in that ladder match. And I feel like I did. I feel like that was a coming out party, if you'd call it that. And since then, I feel like I've sort of cemented myself in amongst NXT. So, I mean, I'm hoping to do the same thing come Wednesday. I'm in another multi-man match. It's another takeover, but I want to steal the show.
Well, you talk about Stand and Deliver, which is coming up now. It's another huge match, and once again, you're in the hunt for the North American Championship. But I was having a look at the names that are in this match, and look, almost everyone in that ring you've beaten. I mean, you've beaten Leon Ruff, you've beaten Swerve, Dexter Loomis, LA Knight, and most recently, Cameron Grimes is the only guy that's given you a bit of trouble. But aside from that, these are people that you've locked up with before, and aside from Grimes, these are guys that you have dominated.
Yeah, I agree. I've said that just on IG Live before with NXT, that I've beaten everyone in this match bar Cameron Grimes, and I feel like that's going to happen. So come Wednesday, Cameron Grimes is going to be that last person that I've got to tick off the list, and then I'm going to face Johnny on Thursday, and I feel like I'm going to beat him too.
And it's a good segue, man, because I wanted to ask you, because obviously you got a backup night one with facing night two when it happens. I'm going to say that, put it out there. And Johnny Gargano, like he's been a great NXT. He's been a former NXT champion. He's done super stuff across the world, but not only that, he's held that North American championship like it's one of his children. And how would you go up against Johnny, especially after going through hell the night before?
Yeah, I feel like anyone that faces Johnny on night two has the odds stacked against him because of that first night. And I'm not going to say if, because I believe I'm going to win on Wednesday and face Johnny. But when I face Johnny, I feel like the way to beat him is just he doesn't match up with me physically. I know that sound might, he's an incredible wrestler, incredible performer, but I have about at least 130 pounds on him. So that force behind me, he's not going to be able to stop.
Now, in your NXT run, I mentioned some of the great matches that you've had. And speaking of Johnny Gargano, I'm pretty sure that Austin Theory will always stick his beak into something. But you've had matches with guys like Austin Theory, Damian Priest. You've come across as well. You've shared the ring with such superstars like Kushida. You've also locked up with Johnny Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly as well. But is there anyone that's in the NXT locker room, or even let's expand it to Raw and SmackDown as well, that you're really keen to sort of get in the squared circle and make some magic with?
Yeah, I mean, there was one person who now isn't in NXT at the moment that I always wanted to be able to wrestle for. We've wrestled before, not for WWE, but I want to wrestle Keith Lee. So I think there'll be fireworks if we get to do that on WWE television. Another person who I've always wanted to wrestle, never happened before, is Samoa Joe. So that's my dream match, is Samoa Joe, and I'm going to will it into existence whether I got to drag him from the announce table into the ring or not.
Man, I'm just salivating at the thought of that dream match. That sounds fantastic. Someone better book that ASAP. But look, obviously, with the way the world is right now, I mean, getting back to Australia to visit friends and family is a challenge to say the least. But does having so many Australians in NXT at the moment help out a little bit?
I think it does. I do miss home. It's been over 2 years for me now since I've actually been back home. But I think having just that, there's a sense of a camaraderie amongst the Australians that are here. We all sort of look out for each other. And in the future, if more Australians, which I'm hoping, do get the chance to be able to come and wrestle for WWE, I'm going to make sure to look out for them as well. But I do miss Australia, but it does help having more Australians around. And I'm hoping we get more and more here and we just take over the whole game.
So do you get like the care packages sent through? Like, do you have packs of fruit chocks or shapes or stuff like that coming your way?
Hey, I'd love some fruit chocks. They're from where I'm from. They're from Adelaide. I've had a few care packages, but unfortunately, sometimes you get Tim Tams or something like that. They'll come through and then they've melted in the process of, getting over to here. And then they sort of taste a little bit funny once you get them out of the package. So there's a lot of food I miss. One thing I miss a lot, meat pies. I miss having a meat pie. It's been 2 years now, and I want one so bad.
Now, are we talking like an actual meat pie or like a pie floater, Adelaide styles?
Hey, I'd be down for pie floater. I'm not sure if you know what Villiers is, but I miss that place a lot. I'd go to Villiers, get a pie floater, Farmers Union iced coffee, and I'd be set.
If anyone's listening on SENSA right now, write all this stuff down because when Bronson gets back here, that's going to be the first point of call. But look, I gotta as we sort of wrap up, I gotta tell you, man, like Adelaide has really been put on the map by Rhea Ripley at the moment. I mean, so many people. I mean, yes, Melbourne and Sydney have got their moments with Murphy and the Iconics getting there, but Rhea's got a chance to sort of really fly that flag for South Australia in a match at WrestleMania. Are you proud that someone from your home city, because let's face it, we all know that like Adelaide's always like the third place when people talk about Melbourne or when people talk about Australia. But when you see people actually giving a whole heap of attention to South Australia, how does that make you feel inside?
It makes me very proud. I think she's killing it. I think she's going to be a talent that's going to be timeless. She's in the next few years, she's going to do incredible things. And it makes me very happy to say that we're both from little old Adelaide. I couldn't expect to have one person sign in Adelaide, let alone a few of us doing pretty well. So, you know, I love Adelaide and it is my home, and I'm very happy that we get to represent it.
Yeah, 100%. And in saying that, do you still pay attention to the local wrestling scene in Australia? Because, like your promotion, your home promotion back home, and even the ones just around the country?
Yeah, I'm still very much in tune with Australian wrestling. Like, it was such a big part of me and what I did, and I cared so much about it. You know, for me, when I got to go overseas and wrestle in the UK, Japan, or even in the United States, I always wanted to represent Australian wrestling, not just myself, but like, hey, there's a bunch of us back home in Australia that are incredible. So I always keep up to date with what's happening. I was a coach at Wrestle Rampage, so I actually helped train a lot of those guys there. So I still pay attention to what they're doing. You know, I was a champion for MCW, champion for PWA, EPW. So I still pay close attention to what's happening in all of those places because, you know, they're near and dear to my heart still.
Well, man, you have really been flying the flag for Australian wrestling, and you should be proud of all your accomplishments, as we are here, not just in Australia, but your fans at Riot City and everyone. We still love seeing you on our screens, and it's so cool seeing a guy that we might have seen in a theater in Thornbury now at the Performance Center and on the grand stage. So it's really awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
But look, I won't say good luck at Takeover because I know you're absolutely going to smash it. But all the best, man. Hopefully this won't be the last time we chat to you. And best of luck and all the best wishes for you. And hopefully we'll see you at Villies in Adelaide.
Hell yeah! Thank you. Thanks, Nibs. I appreciate it.